Hi everyone, it's that time of year when we start to bake Christmas cookies. So you've got a Christmas cookie decorating kit and you don't know quite where to go with it. Most cookie decorating kits are going to come with a few different shapes of cookies and between 3 and 6 colors of icing depending on which kit that you get. And this video is going to give you some decorating ideas and show you some basics about how to decorate cookies so that you can come out with some pretty cool results. So some things that you might want to have on hand when you're decorating: have a large plate to put your decorated cookies on, have a plate for your pastry bags to set them on as you are decorating. When you put them on a flat surface, the icing will run out of them. Have a damp cloth on hand, that's great for cleaning the tips and for cleaning hands if needed. And then have some sort of surface to decorate on. That can be a small plate, it can be a placemat, it can be any number of things just to decorate on. So the first shape that we're going to do is a star, and all of these are just ideas. You can do whatever you'd like to, but the first thing you're going to do to make this design is that you're going to outline the star with 2 different colors, and then you're going to set it aside to crust, and that's like a technical term that you use with cookie decorating. You will know that you're ready to add the next color when the icing goes from that glossy color to kind of a duller matte color. And then you'll know that you're ready to add the yellow. The red and green you can usually do back to back, but the yellow will go into the green pretty easily. Once those have crusted over, you can see that matte finish has happened a little bit. You're going to fill in with that third color, and then to level it out and get that really smooth, pretty finish, you can just shake your cookie a little bit, and that's going to level your icing so that it ends up being very pretty. And it will level itself as well. If you have any areas that aren't touching the edges, you can always use a toothpick to even that out. So then we're going to do a bell. And for this, I always do a little red and green stripe right above where the bell gets widest. And as you can see, I'm setting those pastry bags on the plate so that the tips of them are up, and that just keeps that icing from running out. Once that crust over, you're going to outline and fill the rest of that bell in with yellow. Our next shape is going to be Santa, and I don't usually add the eyes or the details. People will get the idea with just these basics. So you're going to outline and fill all of your white parts first, and as you saw, I was cutting the tip off the bag. So you're going to outline the bottom hat border, the pom-pom, and the beard with white. I usually just do a straight line across the top and then do a little smiley face underneath that, and then fill in the rest of the part. Whenever you're cutting those pastry tips, you can always take some off, but you can't put some on. So start small, and then you can cut more off as you feel like you need to. Then you're going to outline and fill in the red. As you can tell, that white icing has crusted over by going a little more matte. It's not shiny anymore, so you can add in the red. If you're trying to make these for a fancier occasion that you want them to not bleed, it's usually a good idea to let these dry overnight between colors, but if you're making them to eat right away, you can just let them crust a little bit. And then we're going to make the stocking. So with the stocking, we're going to outline and fill in that white part at the very top. Something that is super fun to do with these is once that white icing dries completely at the top, you can get edible markers and write people's names on the top part of that stocking, so it can be super fun and personalized. After that white part crust at the top, you can outline and fill the bottom of the stocking. And as you can see on this cookie, the white has kind of run off the side, and that's not uncommon with royal icing. That happens pretty regularly. So if it runs off the side, don't worry about it too much. You can leave it there, or if it bothers you, all you have to do is once it crusts a little bit, if you take a toothpick, you can just scrape it off with a toothpick, and it looks brand new. Now we're going to do the candy cane. So you're going to outline and fill the white part first, And you can see the pattern that we're making here. And we're leaving space for the red. So once that is dried a little bit, you're going to come back in with the red part of the candy cane. So with the snowflakes, I do it one of two ways. Sometimes I will do a white outline in the back, and sometimes I'll just pipe the blue directly on the cookie, and sometimes people that like less icing prefer that version. But to do the white outline, you just outline and fill the whole cookie with white icing. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a time lapse of the entire cookie decorating process, because I don't just wait on each cookie to do each of these steps. I kind of bounce around to each of the cookies and do each of these steps. For the small details of the blue, you're going to need a tiny tip cut, so cut a little bit, and then if you need to, you can take more off, but like I said, you can't put any more back on there, so do a little bit of a test, see how much comes out, and then go from there. And in order to get straight lines, you want to let the icing hang from the tip of the bag a little bit. And I know this is not the best video. I'm still working on my camera angles, and it's a little bit difficult to get these angles because you have to stay so close to the cookie with the details. But for those long straight lines, you want to let your icing hang down from the bag instead of letting the tip contact the cookie. You can add some sanding sugar at the end to make it a little bit prettier. The snowman is the next cookie that we're going to do. So you're going to outline and fill the snowman below where the hat begins. And as another option, you can also outline the circles to kind of make the three bubbles. So you can do the top and the bottom one and then come back and do the middle if you wanted to make a section snowman. And then you're going to pipe your scarf in whatever color that you'd like to. I usually alternate between the two colors if I have more than one snowman. And then with the black, you're going to cut a very, very tiny tip, pipe your hat, and then your eyes, mouth, and buttons. You can also do this with an edible marker if you're not comfortable with the piping. And then with the yellow, you're going to pipe just a little tiny dot for the nose, and then use a toothpick to drag that out to one side or the other to make your carrot. After that, you're going to make your Christmas tree. So for Christmas trees, you're just going to outline it with green and fill that in. If you'd like to, you can add some white in there to do some little snow tips on the branches if you'd like to. And then for decorations, I usually just use some sprinkles because it looks like the tree has been decorated. So ornaments you can do kind of freeform and do them in any way that you'd like to, but this is one of my favorite designs to make just because it looks so pretty. So you're going to outline and fill the ornament with one color. Then you're going to make stripes of a second color. And then you just use a toothpick to drag back and forth in opposite directions to make a pattern in the icing. And you want to work pretty quickly like this with this because the icing dries pretty fast, and then you end up with a pretty pattern. So this is just a time lapse of the entire process. As you can see, I'm keeping those tips propped up to keep the icing from running out. And I'm doing outlines and individual colors to start out with. You also want to keep a damp rag at each station just for cleaning the tips and messes as you need to. Music makes it more fun, and it also helps keep you in a rhythm. One of the biggest things to remember is that ugly cookies taste just as good as the prettiest ones that you'll eat, and a lot of times they taste better because ugly cookies tend to have a lot more icing on them, and so if you like sugar, then ugly cookies are great. But one of the biggest things to remember about this cookie decorating process is that messes make memories. And so if you have a big old giant mess, then you've got a ton of memories and your family is going to love it. If you want to make sure you have easy cleanup, then just put a big tablecloth underneath over top of it, and then you can just lift that tablecloth up at the end and be good to go. Thank you so much for joining us on Mixing with Merks, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday.